Hi, my name is Svirid. I'm a certified sex coach and a sex educator. And today I will tell you how you can level up your sex life with help of this quite simple but very effective exercise called Sensate Focus. Sensate Focus is an exercise based on touching and being touched without having any kind of expectations or any kind of goal in mind, but rather concentrating on what's actually happening in the moment, what kind of sensations you're feeling in the moment. This exercise consists of 5 steps and I'll tell you all about it in a moment. Sensate Focus can really be a game changer for your sex life. This exercise is actually widely used in sex coaching and sex therapy. It can help people who experience problems with body image, orgasm, arousal, premature ejaculation, erectile dysfunction, and many others. And even if you don't have any kind of sexual concerns, I still totally recommend trying this exercise. It can really help you deepen intimacy with your partner and discover new levels of pleasure that you might not have known about before. The main idea behind Sensate Focus is to eliminate this goal-oriented approach to sex, which only creates more anxiety, and rather create this process approach to sex, which creates more relaxation and deeper sensations. Ready to give it a try? Let's get started. There can be different variations of how Sensate Focus can actually be done, but today we'll talk about the original 5 steps that are included in Sensate Focus. Step 1. Non-genital touching. Step 2. Genital and breast touching. Step 3. Adding lubricant or lotion. Step 4. Mutual touching. And step 5. Sensual intercourse. Each of those steps that I'm going to describe in more details in a moment can be repeated a few times per week, and you can move on to the next step once you feel ready for the next step. But before we dive deeper into the details of each step, let's first think about how we can prepare for the exercise. Ideally, have from 30 to 40 minutes of uninterrupted time. You could also discuss it with your partner and set up the time in advance. Also, make sure that you feel comfortable and relaxed in the place where you're going to be practicing this exercise. If it makes you feel better, feel free to add a few extra things to your space that make you feel more relaxed and calm, such as candles or extra pillows or your favorite bed sheets, whatever works for you. You and your partner should also prepare yourselves. Be clean and relaxed and naked. Of course, if it's not possible to be naked, that's also okay. You can still proceed with the exercise. Just make sure to wear really comfortable and loose clothes. And last but not least, you should decide who is going to be first one to touch and who is going to be first one to be touched. And don't worry, each one of you is going to be in the role of a giver and a receiver at a later stage of an exercise. Also, before you dive deep into the exercise, it might be a good idea to sit down for a moment and take a few deep breaths to make sure that you feel even more relaxed. Now that you, your partner, and the space are ready, you can begin. Let's talk about step 1, non-genital touching. Let's say you start this practice by being the one who is being touched. Keep in mind that halfway through this exercise, you will need to switch it up and be the one who is touching anyway. You begin by laying down in the comfortable position in a comfortable place. And your partner starts touching your body everywhere except for breasts and genitals. This is very important because it will help you concentrate on the sensual part of the touch rather than the sexual experience. And also remember, this is not a massage. Those are wonderful, but they are for some other time. And kissing and having an intercourse are not allowed either. While touching you, your partner should really concentrate on the sensations, the temperature, the texture, all the different shapes and curves of your body. They can also play around with the speed and the rhythm and the strength of their touch. They can also change it up and either use just their fingers to touch you or the whole palm. The important thing is to do it slowly and really concentrate on what's happening in the moment, what they're feeling, and what kind of sensations they're experiencing. You, the person who's being touched, should not tell your partner how you want to be touched. Unless, of course, something feels really uncomfortable, then you definitely should speak up. What you need to do while being touched is to concentrate on what kind of sensations and what kind of feelings are coming up for you. Try not to analyze or judge. Simply notice. It is sometimes suggested that you take 15 minutes before you switch, but actually there is no particular time frame. You should really take as much time as you need to explore. It is important to know that it might happen that either both of you or one of you gets sexually aroused and you might want to have sex in the moment. After all, you are most likely being naked in front of each other and touching each other, so it's only normal. But I really do recommend to try your best not to turn this exercise into a sexual encounter. I know, as sex coach telling you not to have sex, Sounds a bit counterintuitive, doesn't it? But trust me, refraining from sex in this particular context can really help you not fall back into your old sexual patterns and gain the benefits of this exercise. After all, that's exactly why you're doing it, right? And if you feel sexual tension building up, simply try slowing down. That being said, if it does happen that at any point of this exercise you do end up having sex, that's okay. It can happen. Don't be too harsh on yourself. Simply notice it and schedule another time to repeat this step. It can also happen that you become so relaxed that you just simply fall asleep. That's fine too. Again, simply set up a different time to try to do the step again. Repeat this step until you feel comfortable moving on to step 2. Step 2. Genital and breast touching. This step follows the same logic and the same structure as step 1, except now you can touch genitals and you can touch breasts. But remember, the focus is still sensation and exploration, not sexual arousal. Make sure not to concentrate on genitals and breasts too much and spread the attention to the whole body equally. Also, make sure to play around with the positions that you find comfortable for yourself, whether you're the one who touches or you're the one who is being touched. You might also want to try the technique that is called handwriting. Assuming you're the one being touched, simply place your hand on top of your partner's hand and slowly and gently guide them through your body, showing them how and where you'd like to be touched. The same thing as with step 1. Take as much time as you need repeating this step until you're ready to move to step 3. Step 3. Adding lotion or lubricant. Step 3 is actually very similar to step 2, except now you do the same thing, but with lotion or lube. This will help you notice the difference between the sensations you felt during step 1 or 2 and step 3. Make sure you choose the lube and lotion that fits both of you in terms of texture and smell. And it's also a good idea to make sure that it's not cold. Feeling ready to go to the next step? Let's do it. Step 4. Mutual touching. In these steps, forget about taking turns. You can follow the same principles as we discussed during the steps 1, 2, or 3, except now you can do it simultaneously. Now you can touch and be touched at the same time. The experience you gained during step 1, step 2, and step 3 should really help you now to concentrate simultaneously on what you feel in your body while you're being touched, as well as what you feel while you're touching your partner. I know I said it before, but I'm gonna say it again. This step, just like all the other steps, are not about sexual arousal. It's about exploring and experiencing the sensations and being in the moment together with your partner. And again, make sure you direct your attention to all of the body parts equally. In this step, you can also use your lips and your tongue to explore each other's bodies. And I don't mean kissing or oral sex. That you should still stay away from. I mean using your tongue and your lips as a mean to touch each other and explore each other's bodies. Also, you might want to try to do this step in a different place. For example, if you were doing all the previous steps in your bedroom, try doing this one in the shower. This can provide an interesting change of perspective and some new sensations and feelings. And now, let's move on to the final step. Step 5. Sensual intercourse. This step follows very similar principle, except here we introduce sensual intercourse. Please note, sensual, not sexual. The goal here is still to explore sensations and discover what feels pleasurable and interesting. Start the step by a period of time where you simply mutually touch each other, avoiding genitals and breasts for a while. Gradually, add genitals and breasts back into the mix. You can also incorporate handwriting techniques we discussed in step 2. Once you're both comfortable and aroused, change the position to the one that would potentially allow for an intercourse to happen. But don't proceed with penetration or any other type of sex that you're used to just yet. Simply let your genital areas touch each other and notice how that sensation feels for both of you. If after some time of this exercise you feel like you'd like to proceed and have sex, do it. Just make sure not to rush and do it slowly. For example, if you're into penetrative sex, do only partial penetration. Hold still for a few seconds, withdraw for 20 or 30 seconds, and then come back and do it again. I know that going slow might not always be easy for everybody, but it's essential to try and go as slow as you can because this is the only way to allow yourself and your partner to feel all of the sensations that are happening in the moment. And voila, we have all of the 5 steps of the Sensate Focus completed. I really do hope that you and your partner will get to try this exercise and will get to enjoy the process and get all of the benefits and level up your sex life together. Enjoy exploring!